The quarter 3 result season starts tomorrow with the biggest result TCS for IT. Last 1 month we have witnessed a huge euphoria in the IT stocks, and tomorrow will decide will the trend continue or the juggernaut will stall. The next big result as per the published calendar will be on Saturday, DMart. Now if you see the trends, TCS recovered today from a 3-day losing streak, up 2% ahead of the result, whatever were the shorts they got covered, and DMart has been down for 3 days now. HCL Tech will be the next IT result. Another bull versus bear seesaw day on huge volumes. Reliance had the second consecutive good day, up 2%, and today IT and banks, they interchanged their positions. IT was up and banks were down. And after a field day yesterday, defense stocks cooled down a bit. This is despite a big news that Center has drawn a plan of 57,000 crores. This is for shipbuilding and Kandla port expansion. One stock which was again on fire after hitting an upper circuit yesterday was Paras Defense. The sector of the day was Microfinance. This sector has been the worst performer for the entire year. It is actually not a recognized sector. It comes under NBFCs only. Today, Spandana Spurti for the second consecutive day hit an upper circuit. In 2 days, it has recovered 45% from the lows of yesterday. Now, many of you may not be investing in this sector, but the way I'll analyze the EPS part specifically, that may be very useful in evaluating stocks which are beaten down right now. Not a very different day from yesterday, just that Reds increased a bit. Number 1, number 2 at the top, Reliance and TCS, giving them company ITC, ONGC and Airtel. What was pulling Nifty down today? Banking, HDFC, ICICI Bank and SBI at the rock bottom. Next 50 did not look good today at all. Siemens has not been doing well for a fortnight now. That was at the rock bottom. LIC India, the number 1 stock in next 50, that is in the bottom these days. Varun Beverages has not been doing well again now. The Campa Cola story continues, and PFC has been correcting slowly and steadily. It gave a run up, crossed 500, but now it is back to 435. And United Spirits has stopped the supply of beer to Telangana. That's because they are not increasing the prices for many years. Bajaj Holding has a permanent seat these days in the top 5, and it is still 17% away from its 52-week high. This graph is same as yesterday literally, just that banking and IT have switched positions. Adani Enterprises led diversified industrial continues to be at the top. We have consumption now inching up slowly and steadily, and the virus means healthcare is coming at the top as well, healthcare providers. Seeing Nifty go down till about middle of the day, actually till 1 o'clock, most people would have left for the day saying that it's another bad day, but Nifty had a good bounce back, trading range of nearly 1%. And Bank Nifty had similar graph, the recovery was lesser, yet the trading range was higher, 1.7%. This typically is an indicator that people are getting jittery ahead of the result season. Another red day for the Bank Nifty. The entire private sector banking space has been red for months now. No respite. Volumes picked up compared to yesterday, and Yes Bank, Bandhan Bank hit fresh lows. The story is no different for the public sector banks. Just see the distance to 52-week high. Investing pack has run up a lot and it is now cooling down a lot. That too on high volumes. I mentioned yesterday greens are reducing. Now we have only 2 remaining ICICI Securities and BSC. And there is still a lot of profit left on the table in this sector. In IT, the size of this bars look small. That's because Paytm was down 8% today on rocket volumes. But the gains in the top players were decent today on high volumes, the top player ahead of the results. And the software as a service or product companies continue to sulk. Minor gains in Maruti and Tata Motors, but the auto sector in general is losing interest right now, and ancillaries are getting worse. Today I got rid of my last stock in this particular pack, Balkrishna Industries. Oil and gas has been sulking for months. Finally it got its opportunity with crude inching up a bit, and people are all confused because crude going up is actually not good for the marketing companies. My worry, of course, starts with a W. Power continues to bleed. The worst time for Adani stock seems to be over, but that's not reflecting in the Adani pack. No greens. Sugar continues to bleed, and we are heading towards the harvest season. Sugarcane production is expected to be pretty good. The consumption space is now getting very stock specific and news driven. The fast food sector has been correcting of late. Jubilant Food continues to be in the green. Once people realize that Jubilant Food has not bought Coke, this stock will correct a lot. The big boys continue to be in red. Nestle, Britannia, Godrej, Dabur and Tata Consumer. Non-edible pack had fantastic volumes today. Kalyan Jewelers was down on rocket volumes. And in my portfolio, about 40,000 profit has changed to 40,000 loss in a space of 3 days. The stock, however, recovered towards the later part of the day. The stocks I am watching out in this particular result season are Titan, Asian Paints, Trent, DMart, Page Industries, Kalyan Jewelers, and Ixigo. Associate Alcohol hit a fresh high, up 6% on rocket volumes. I'll tell you a funny thing. We have heard so much good stuff about railways, all the swanky trains, the good progress, but this entire sector related to railways is in the red nearly. And the ticketing company IRCTC is at a low. What is happening here with ticketing and catering? Container Corporation hit a 52-week low today. How is the country moving the cargo if Container Corporation is at a 52-week low? Stock market is a good mirror both in the past and the future. Indices, only IT was green today, and FIs I have not talked about them for last few days because there's nothing to talk about. They have been selling only. They have reached 12,000 crore already. We are about to end week 1. DIs have bought nearly the same amount. The Microsoft news from yesterday got better. Microsoft and Digital India have said that they will open AI centers in tier 2 and tier 3 cities to train 5 lakh people. This is fantastic news if it happens this way. And this 5 lakh people can actually cascade into a lot many jobs, indirect jobs. And this news about unusual gold imports in November, the news itself is unusual. Now Nifty VIX is losing its relevance completely because of the way the trades are managed. And I believe this happens only in India. VIX cannot be managed this way, say in the US. In the other data points, Bitcoin is cracking right now and the entire world is looking at it. That is because a large fund managed by BlackRock, the new one, which is the Bitcoin ETF, that came under pressure, the selling pressure. And Tesla ahead of the 20th January event down 4%. I sold Oil India at a very little profit. This stock was in losses for last month or so. I want to be on cash right now. So while I expect the stock to go up, I prefer to come out. That's simply the reason. If crude cracks suddenly and goes back to 73, 74, all these companies, ONGC, Oil India, will cracked a lot. I sold Balkrishna. This has been sulking for more than 2-3 months. Spandana I bought yesterday in 2 portfolios. So I sold in one portfolio completely. In the other portfolio, I sold 50% quantity. What I sold today was probably the oldest stock at the highest rate. This will go for tax harvesting actually. Same thing with Fusion. I had bought it in 2 portfolios. I got rid of Paras Defense, 15% up. And they're not going to add any profit on account of the machine guns in this particular quarter in the results. Associated Alcohol hit a new high. The profit was decent, about 7-8%. So I booked that and came out. In terms of buy, I moved a significant amount of money in gold ETFs and I bought Credit Grameen after I sold Spandana. This is the largest microfinance company and I'll talk about it in the Nugget section. It has not gone up a lot. India has about 500,000 villages that don't have banks. All these villages depend heavily on microfinance industry for their banking needs. And this concept was invented by Muhammad Yunus, who is now heading Bangladesh. In this concept, there is a village. This is the green circle. There are groups of women, about 4 or 5 of them, and these women take each other's guarantee. If one of them can't pay the loan, the other 4 take care of her temporary, and this discipline continues in the entire village. if one group defaults, then the entire village stops getting loan. This concept has been diluted a lot of late in the last 2 years or so, and this has perhaps led to the systematic problems, one of the reasons, and I'll talk about the overall problems in the sector when they will get solved also in this video. Credit Grameen is the largest microfinance company. I believe Bharat Financial was the largest, but then it was acquired by IndusInd and it got delisted. This entire sector was rocking today, and the distance to 52-week high is extremely high for nearly all stocks. Now, Ugro also deals with similar business, but Ugro and Mass Financial are slightly different. That is, if you see, Mass Financial has not fallen that much. It is just 48% away from 52-week highs, and Ugro is just 28% away. Most of these companies were up right in the beginning of the day and stayed up. That is because there are so many shorts in this sector and people are suddenly scampering for cover. Now, Satin Credit is my favorite company historically. I have perhaps made most money in a single stock in this company, but for this year it has only been down, and this year I have a lot of booked losses in this company because my holding price was roughly around 230 240. I came out in one particular portfolio, which is my largest portfolio, booking losses here. I still hold a very high quantity in other portfolios. This stock was up 4% today, but it has a lot of distance to go, about 300. The historic high for this stock is 500 plus. Credit Grameen is the largest company, that was up 13%. This too has a large distance to cover. Spandana is one of the older companies as well, and this has only gone up this much despite two upper circuits. Adani stocks also have similar graphs, by the way. Fusion Microfinance is one company which is PE owned. They were the first to report the systematic problem and they provisioned very early ahead of the other people, and they were punished most as if they are the only ones having the problem. This is the problem of having a good management. They are now coming up with a rights issue very soon, and this stock I believe will go up a lot after that. Now, the sector is facing many issues right now. The biggest one is dilution of model, which means the very basis of women guaranteeing each other without the need of a collateral, that has gone down significantly. Center meetings are not happening diligently. Over leverage part where the loans amount has increased a lot. Now, no one owns this particular problem who agreed that the loan amount should be high. That's because this sector is not directly regulated by RBI. There is a organization called Microfinance Institute, or MFIN, which takes care of the decision making. There have been floods which destroy a lot of livelihoods, and as a result, temporarily the paying capacity goes down for many women. In elections, a lot of promises are made in villages that you can stop paying loans once I come to power. I will waive off your loans. In many cases, people actually believe them and they stop paying the loans. After 90 days, they are marked as NPAs. The economy in general is right now turbulent in some pockets especially. That is why rural demand is also low, and that is impacting the entire sector. These problems are kind of cyclical. This circle is about 4 to 5 years approximately. The peak is here. This happened before the elections, and I misread this by about 1 quarter. That is why my portfolios have been sulking. This downward cycle is right now here. I don't think we have bottomed out. Let me illustrate this with this simple graph. This is from Money Control. Revenues are fine. However, the problem is provisioning. Minus 30 EPS for this particular quarter. If you see here, 17, 17, 18. This is nearly a 75 rupee annualized EPS. Suddenly there was a drop here. That is because the troubles were already brewing here, and because of election model code of conduct, some business maybe could not be conducted. And suddenly came this minus 30. This takes care of EPS of 2 quarters. We are only left with 8, not 75. This is the value destruction in EPS just by provisioning for 1 quarter. Now, a lot of companies are selling off these books, which means there will be no recovery in the books of these companies. I mentioned that few days back, this is a bad move because a lot of these people come back and repair the loans later on. EPS wise, minus 962. This is the worst quarter. Minor recovery started after that, 7, 9. This is where the full-blown EPS came, 16, 16, 17. Now, if you see this particular negative, it will take 5 quarters to go. Think of it like minus 30. After that, there could be a minus 6, minus 7, maybe a plus 6, 7. Then there would be another, say, 5 or 10 kind of positive entry. then there will be maybe a 10-12 kind of entry. Till here, this particular number will look bad because of this minus 30. Once we come here, this could be say 10, 15, 20, whatever. This minus 30 will go off. Suddenly there will be a good jump in quarter on quarter as well as year on year number here. That is why I say after first quarter, we need 5 quarters to recover for any stock. So at this point, that is why I sold off a lot of my Saturn holding. Now I could be totally wrong. I'll be happily wrong because I still hold a lot of microfinance companies. I'll make money there. But I'll probably buy back Saturn and some other microfinance companies that I'm selling off right now these days in probably middle of next year, or when I feel that the stocks are at a rock bottom. Till that time, I don't want to block my capital. Hope this particular style of analysis and forecasting was useful. This is not necessarily only microfinance. This could happen in many companies and stocks which are cyclical, especially things like auto, metal, where we could have a very bad quarter. Thanks for watching and I will see you tomorrow.